Are we actually live?
We are here.
We've made it.
We made it. All right.
Back.
Please forgive our technical intro difficulties. It will be worked out by the production staff in the back. Welcome to another Slice of Pie. This is Team Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm joined by my co-host, Isabella Jeffcoat, and we have a fantastic guest in the house, Snodgrass. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. So today's episode, we're actually going to be able to talk to somebody who is, I think, an amazing field. Trey is going to talk about his studies, and so this is a great episode for college students, for parents who are trying to figure out what you want your kids to do, and for those of us who are trying to figure out what a physician's assistant actually does.
Absolutely.
So we'll be able to cover all of that. So first of all, let's just give you a warm welcome. We are again grateful that you're here. For anyone who's in the chat, drop your comments, like, love, share, do all the stuff you're supposed to do so we can keep coming back. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Bella. Go, Bella.
Hey, all right. Welcome, Mr. Trey Snodgrass. We're so happy to have you today.
Goodness, thank you for having me, both of you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
We are going to just jump right into it. Our first question for you today is, can you tell us about your love for the sciences and what does a physician assistant do and why did you choose this field?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, that is it's a very packed question. Okay. We're just opening it up.
Yes, we're going right in.
Yes, I love it. So, my love for the sciences really came from my family. And I know that probably sounds weird, but my love for the sciences came from my love of learning fields that allow me to help people. And by watching, people like my mom, my dad, my sister, who ended up also going into the sciences, and watching just my family, and how my family was growing up, I started to know that at the end of the day, I really liked being social, helping people, being a part of the community in some way. And so kind of by just enjoying that, that's kind of how I fell in love with science. I mean, the science, like things like chemistry, biology, like learning about the actual hard sciences, that's just one aspect of it. But when you get down to it, like about being a physician assistant, about being a PA, it's about helping people. And so I really came in love with the sciences and helping people by being around those that model that type of behavior. And with that being said, it's a perfect segue into kind of, what a PA is, why I chose that. And for me, becoming a PA, first of all, was the absolute best thing I've ever done in my life. Living the dream. A PA, or physician assistant, is a healthcare professional who has a master's degree and who's able to diagnose, treat, as well as prescribe medications, work with patients, give health advice, coach. They are able to literally be integrated in the healthcare team and work as your primary care providers in a number of fields. So any fields you can think of, we're there. It's super, super exciting to get the opportunity to see what we do as I'm learning about how to be a PA and getting a chance to, really grow as a future PA.
Well, you can tell your passion for this area, and for a lot of people, a lot of folks go through life don't even know what their passion or purpose is, and it is so clear. It is kind of in your heart to serve and take care of others. So this, I think that is, just so you know, that is literally radiating off the screen is how much you are passionate about this area. Y'all, for those of y'all who don't know what your passion is, you clearly figure it out so that you go on the right track. And so I'll turn back. Go ahead, Bella. What's up next?
All right, our second question is, what is a scrub?
Oh, man.
Please define.
Yes. Okay. So I know everybody has had to hear that what is the TLC song, Scrub.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all know the song. Y'all know it. So, a scrub, in my opinion, is a person, it's a newbie, right? It's someone fresh out. An individual who's just trying to get their feet wet and try to kind of figure out how life goes and try to figure out how, things go and whatever that means for you. For me, I really like the word scrub, because PAs, healthcare professionals, we wear scrubs in the field, right?
Okay.
we got the basic answer. We wear skirts. Okay. But the real, the deeper meaning behind it is, I'm never going to get to a point where I know everything. Ever. I can finish this education. I can go back for a doctoral degree. I can do whatever. I'll never know everything. It's impossible. So the idea of me, being a scrub in a pair of scrubs for the rest of my life is something that I live up to, because it means that I'm going to continuously try to learn and educate myself, to educate those around me, as I'm figuring things out. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, I love that. So maybe we're going to do hashtag scrub.
Right. Yes.
Scrub is a good thing. All right. We're doing hashtag scrub because Trey said so. We're going to continuously learn.
I love that.
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. And Isabella just, y'all.
There it is.
We're hashtagging scrub.
Shout out TLC for the info.
Exactly. Shout out TLC for scrubs.
I love that. That's third question. Did you always know what you wanted to do?
It's a very, very good question. You know what? No, actually. So in high school, like I said before, I knew kind of growing up that I definitely wanted to help people. And I fell in love with science. As I actually was just about my senior year of high school, I actually thought I wanted to be, I knew I wanted to do the medical field, but I wasn't exactly sure. So I actually thought I wanted to be a psychiatrist, because I was just like, I loved at this time, like I think I was in an AP psychology class. I was like, oh my gosh, psych is so cool. And medicine also seems really cool. And I'm just trying to basically take two ideas and put them together. So I actually ended up, as you can probably tell, that says, wrong side, it's mirrored, but right there, GV alumni. I graduated from Grand Valley State University in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And as an incoming freshman, they had an option to declare this health science major. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, I can explore what healthcare professions best align with me. So I'm kind of going through it. And it wasn't until I actually volunteered at this clinic in Grand Rapids. This is about 2 to 3 years into my education. So I'm like a sophomore, junior, and I started volunteering at this clinic, and I saw it was a PA. She went into a room with a Spanish-speaking patient, and the PA, she was also able to speak Spanish. And the way she sat down with the patient and translated what was going on, she sat down, her whole body language changed. She aligned with the patient, sat next to them, took the time to just talk with them, educate them. I believe it was about, receiving a vaccine of some type. And they sat down and had a discussion. To see all those things line up, I was like, wow, this role, like the versatility of this is super, super cool. And so that just further confirmed, like, I want to do something like this. I want to learn something like this that has versatility, that allows me to become and relate with my patient, become close to my patient, while also getting down to what they're here for and helping them and building that relationship.
Wow, that is so awesome. And for those, there's a lot of us that see that career in action, and so just to be able to kind of model that, and you kind of knew this is the route that I want to take based on your own passion and understanding what your own purpose is. And big shout out to Grand Valley.
Big shout out
to Grand Valley.
Go Lakers, go Lakers.
Exactly. So Bella, I'm going to take this next one about students who might be considering this field. And I'm also going to present it in a way for parents who might be considering, parents who are talking to kids about, and trying to help them figure out about this field. What advice do you have for students who might be considering the field, who might not know, like, yeah, this is it, but what are some things that are tips that or advice that you could share?
Absolutely. Great question. First, let me just say, I know I talked about the PA field having a master's degree. That's currently what I am going for here at Rosalind Franklin University in Chicago. So I am studying at Rosalind Franklin University in Chicago, Illinois. And before you get your master's degree, you have to have a 4-year degree. So you have to get your bachelor's. And in PA school, you get 2 years of education. One called didactic, which is classroom learning. And the next step is clinical education, where you go out in clinicals and you get some experience. So I kind of want to just explain a little bit more about that. In terms of trying to reach out and advocate for this role, students who are interested, like I said, in getting the opportunity to receive healthcare experience on a level that allows them to build that bridge between patient and provider, this role is for you. This is for you. literally for me to find this role, I took the opportunity to really speak to advisors, mentors, people that actually did this. And so I encourage those who are interested in becoming a PA, the best people to talk to are PAs. Like whether or not it's at your own visit, let's say you are with a loved one or you yourself are in a healthcare setting for whatever reason, network, see what they do and ask questions. That was the best thing I could have done. I ended up finding a mentor who actually graduated from the program I'm here, who graduated from this program that I'm at right now. And I would never have even known about it if it wasn't for him. So the best thing you can do is put yourself out there and network. The next thing you can do is speak to your advisors, speak to, your academic staff, whatever that means for you in your setting, and try to figure out what classes you need to be taking and what route you need to be taking to get to that next step of becoming what we call a pre-PA. So that's someone before they get to PA school. Definitely, networking and navigating, two biggest steps to honestly starting on your journey to getting here.
I'm gonna drop that as a tip in the chat, Bella, while you take the next question, because that networking and connecting to help you navigate and having those early conversations. And I love the fact that you mentioned, there might be someone who's in that field already, or talking to your advisors are such incredible ways for folks to learn. And again, I do want to include, like, for parents, if you're having if you have a student who is just not sure, y'all help them get to these resources, like help open some of these doors so they can get the answers that they need to actually start building out their college life and their career life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a Bella, before you hit your next question, there's a comment in the room if you want to read that out.
Parents must encourage their kids to explore, learn, mentorship, network, and do volunteer work.
Oh my goodness.
I wholeheartedly,
my whole heart.
She stole my thunder, but I'll let her have it. Wholeheartedly, absolutely, positively agree. Absolutely. All right, Bella.
All righty then. Don't ask. I'm tired.
Things you say with your inside voice.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you wish you knew about the college admission process?
Oh, before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Bella Shelley. Man. I wish I knew.
Good stuff.
I'm telling y'all just these questions. Oh my gosh, please, y'all need to follow this series. You're gonna learn everything from this series.
Yes, you will.
I wish I knew about scholarships. That is the number one thing I wish I knew more about, scholarships. Setting myself out there and really applying for scholarships. One of the biggest things that I had to kind of stumble through, especially going from being a high school senior into going and becoming a college freshman, was a lot of the stuff that we're paying for. There is somebody out there who is willing to pay it for you.
Yes,
absolutely. You have to take advantage of those resources. If you're in, that high school setting or, preparing to use those college counselors and your teachers and figure out where they're giving students money. There's money everywhere. And this is really huge. And I know you specifically asked about admissions. This is really big because money matters when you're trying to figure out what school to go to.
Yes.
You don't want to go to a school that, that's really, really expensive and might be really, really big. You kind of want to start to limit some of those fields. And the biggest field you can limit is the amount of money you're paying for college. So one of the biggest things I wish I could go back and do is really find more scholarships, whether or not that's for scholarships for Black men, scholarships for people of color, or scholarships for those interested in healthcare, or a random scholarship online that gives out $100 for those that, live in Georgia or Michigan or whatever you're from. They're everywhere and there's so many of them. So I really encourage you to go out and do the research and, try to save some money.
Is that as easy as like Googling it? Like, Google it and you can literally just come up with a list, or do you have any suggestions on like any sites or anything that you might have used?
Absolutely. So I will say, to answer your first question, sometimes it literally is as easy as Googling. Literally, if you type in scholarships in my area, even that is doing something. You know, that is at least getting your mind out in some places that might offer you scholarships. The best, I think, there are tons of sites. I know they have scholarships.com, I believe, is a site. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive that's a site. They have some other specific scholarships that go through states and go through different education systems. I'll say the first step is to just go to your school, whether or not your counselor, your teacher, your administration, and try to figure out what resources they offer. So I know like my school, my high school, they offered, I believe if you went to the local charter school for your entire education, so K through 8, they offered an automatic, I think you were eligible for maybe at least $100, $100 to $300. And I mean, in retrospect, yes, I mean, it's $100, but $100 is something.
But it adds up.
It adds up. And I believe it could even be more. I'm not entirely sure on that amount. So start with your school and kind of see where to go from there. And a lot of times you end up running into some other sites that might be super helpful for you.
Awesome. I'm dropping that in the chat, you know, for students. Make sure that you're remembering to talk to your counselors. I think a lot of times people forget because they're just trying to complete the application process.
And it's a lot.
Just trying to get accepted. It's a lot, y'all. So don't forget the resources that are literally in front of you at the school, and don't wait until you desperately need it. Start planning ahead so that you'll be ready when you need it. The money will be there waiting for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead, Bella.
You want to take this one, Mama? Do you want to take?
Did you ask me? Yeah. Oh yeah. So okay. So I wanted to ask about college life.
Oh yes. Awesome.
All right. So now we don't know how many people are watching. We're on multiple streams. These numbers don't make any sense, and we know we're going to watch. There's a lot of people that are watching the replay. Absolutely. So I'm asking questions on behalf of folks watching the replay, and for my friends who need to know. I'm asking for my friends. Okay. I wanted to find out some tips about college life, maybe some things that you've learned as you entered into college. Is there anything that stood out? But what kind of tips can you share about college life, especially for folks who maybe they've left their cozy comfort of being in the same state with your parents?
Absolutely.
What kind of tips do you have, especially in the sciences?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? This is really good because it really works for those in the sciences, and it really works for those that aren't too. So this is a good one right here. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. This is my number one secret to having a successful college life. Literally, throw yourself in the dark. I'm telling you right now, the best thing I did for myself in college was try things that made me uncomfortable and that I had little to no experience in. When I first came to college, right, I declared the sciences, but I decided, you know what, something I really enjoy doing and I've always enjoyed doing is performing, and that includes singing, theater, dance. I decided, right, Bella's like, I feel, yep, exactly. And, that was something I found passionate about. When I came to college, I didn't know too many people. A lot of people from my area didn't go to the school I went to. So the best way for me to meet people, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? Trey, how are you going to do that? I said, I have to find my passions. I have to go and pursue those too. I have to still have a life. First 2 months or so I was there, I decided to go ahead and audition for a stage play. That we had. It was actually a Shakespeare play, King Lear. Ooh. Oh my goodness. I got
what?
Right. I know.
That's hard.
Shakespeare. I don't even know who I am anymore. I was like, I didn't really have a big passion for Shakespeare, but I just wanted to give it a try.
Yeah.
I went in there. That show actually ended up giving me a gateway to audition for my first college musical, where I ended up doing an opening solo and had a lot of opportunities to meet more of my castmates, and that opened up the door for more connections. Later on, that opened the door for another show. Next thing you know, I'm emceeing a huge president's ball. Next thing you know, I'm a part of promotional events on GV. Next thing you know, I'm introduced to student organizations that want to collaborate with me and get to know me. I'm meeting more people. These friends and my castmates, they end up becoming my roommates next year. Those roommates end up becoming my best friends today. All of these doors led to something else. And it's actually really funny. One of the biggest things I did, and one of the last things I did right before as I graduated, is I sung the national anthem in front of 10,000 plus individuals at my graduation, including those live streamed. So those there and that came from my musical director, who actually allowed me that opportunity because he knew that I had it in me, right? He worked with me. So you never know where these opportunities lead. And that goes for friendships and, job opportunities too. I, at the time, was offered, lots of opportunities from this, but also I met friends and I got the chance to meet, my long-term friends. And I think that's super important to, not only pay attention to, your academic work and your schoolwork, but I did really, I got a chance to, excel academically because I got involved too. I took a chance to take a break from the books and find what my passions were. And to do that, I had to dive into what made me uncomfortable. And at the time, that was just not knowing anybody, right? Trying something new. And I did it, and I did not regret one thing about it at all.
Wow, you hit so many bells and whistles. Bella's passion is singing, so she's over there. She's like, wait, you didn't what now?
Bella. Right. We gotta talk.
Yes.
Yeah,
you.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. And the other thing that out of that experience is building your confidence, right? It's just that is just priceless. So I love, and this again is like great advice for folks who are older on the other end age spectrum like us. Try something that makes you uncomfortable. Absolutely. So I wanted to move down and ask about is it okay to ask you about the podcast? Are you guys still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's get into this podcast, y'all. Okay. I am so excited about this. So this is another one of those, and I can see where like your passion for PA, your energy around performing, and now you're connecting with the college community through this podcast. So tell us a little bit more about this podcast so we can get ready when it goes live.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes. So it's actually also, so this is something that's been in the works for a while. It's under development. And what we're doing is myself, who is a PA student at Rosalind Franklin in Chicago, and another PA student by the first name of Trevor, who is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, at Grand Valley's program. We have decided.
Shout out to Trevor.
Shout out to Trevor.
Shout out to Trevor.
Good luck. Keep pushing. Me and Trev are actually collaborating on a podcast. And we are going to be talking about basically life as a PA student, but also we're expanding that into the community. And so one of our objectives in our podcast is to really reach out to those in the community and say, obviously we're PA students. We want to talk about, PA school things and how it's like to be a PA student, but also how a lot of the topics that, we focus on in terms of health and wellness, how that correlates to the community as well. And as young people in the community.
Yeah.
So we're giving a really fresh outlook on, science and medicine and how we can impact public, the health of the public in the community, but also some really cool topics that the youth are going to be interested in too. And this is something we've been talking about before both of us even graduated. So it's been in the works for a while, and we're really, really, really excited to get a chance to dive into that more and share it with the world.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward, and we know once that goes live, let us know so we can share it out as much as possible. And I mean, I think the other thing I thought about when we first had our little powwow getting ready for this, it's been a couple of months.
It has,
but
yeah.
I've been looking forward to hearing about this podcast because here again it's from a student's perspective.
Absolutely.
And which I think adds such a much more deeper layer. And if I'm in high school, or if I'm a high school counselor, or I'm an organization on campus, quite frankly, if I'm the university that these young men are at, this is your PR arm. I'm just going to throw it out there. This is your recruitment arm. This is what you need. So when you launch this is going to be very impactful. And just to have your perspective and sharing your experiences within the university, and then obviously having that kind of build and take a life on first. So I'm really excited about the podcast and framing the way you guys are framing it to, really help folks who are, and, even students who might be struggling with the college experience to kind of encourage them to finish finish what you started. Absolutely. So Please let us know when the podcast is ready because we all over it.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
We all over
super
it.
excited. A lot of new information will be coming soon. So we were texting not too long ago. Both of us are in our classroom education right now, our didactic year. So we're, really coming together with our communication and saying, this is what we're going to do. And we're ready to share with the world. And once we do, we'll be sure to make sure everybody knows. So
awesome. We'll make sure when we get the information, obviously I'm not embarrassed about hyping Friends. So y'all I'm just telling you right now, y'all just get prepared to be sick of us talking about this podcast because that's how it's going down. That's how it's going down. So they'll be all right. So what do you see? I mean, other than like the profession of being a PA, where else do you see yourself after graduation? Because you have such incredible talent. It just feels like I literally see you in so many different capacity, in the way that you're impacting with your talent, all of that. So where do you see yourself when you completed the college experience?
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much. I take those words to heart. I definitely try to make myself better every day. I try to, really expand on my skills outside of that of even being a PA student. So I really appreciate that. Absolutely. With that being said, the work does not stop. Even when I'm a PA in practice, one of the things that I fell in love with, and I know me and my mom talk about this all the time, is public speaking, and getting the opportunity to also share my story. So with that being said, that is something I really, really want to do. I want to take this, take the stage, with I guess the words I'll choose is take the stage, right? And, share my story, whether or not that has to do with, being a PA, and that's in front of our national, worldly known organization known as AAPA, which stands for the American Academy of Physician Assistants, which is a goal of mine. That is on my bucket list. I'm saying it right here on this show. I will present in front of AAPA.
Yes, you will.
Yes, you will.
Or whether or not that's also, getting the chance to get in front of individuals and talk about why there aren't more individuals that look like me, that look like us in these roles. And I think that's important too, right? We need to talk about, people of color stepping into a white coat and what that means. I got this motto from Dr. Damon Tweedy, who is a professor and a psychiatrist from Duke University. And I've lived by this motto, right? I wake up every day and I say the words, I want to be a Black man in a white coat. And that was something he talks about in his book, actually. Do I have it right with me? Here it is. Ready?
We're going to give a plug right now.
Black Man in a White Coat by Damon Tweedy. Dr. Damon Tweedy, a medical doctor from Duke University. He truly, and I continue to read this book, inspires me because the impact that walking into a room and seeing another provider that looks like you, that identifies like you, that understands you, that makes so much of a difference. And so I really want to continue to spread that story, spread the word, and take that above the practitioner level. I want to take that on the stage with me. So I want to be able to share that story with others.
Storytelling is so important because you don't know who you're going to impact. And so I also appreciate the fact that you've called out the underrepresentation, but here is where when you get in a position of power, how you use the influence is so important. And you're a fantastic speaker. You literally have me leaning in to hear what you have to say. That is a sign of a good speaker, because I'm one of those folks, I'll check out really I'm like, I don't want to hear it. You're very easy to talk to and relatable, and you're clear in what you're saying. It's on point. And so I have zero doubt that you won't do this. I know for sure that you absolutely will do this. And so we're gonna read out. There's this lady in the chat. Her name is Tamika, and she's saying, "You're an awesome speaker with great stories and experiences to share. And just remember that there's always somebody that could use that story. There's always somebody that could use that story, and you never know who you could help. And I don't care." Yeah, absolutely. And
my mentor, he is, and I'm so sorry to cut you off there. My mentor, he is a Black male PA working out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And he's the one I was talking about earlier that got me here. And seeing him do that work, and seeing him, even before he went into practice, he was doing some public, some work with the community and working specifically with those that identify as African American. And so watching him go from that transition and watching his story, and that was inspirational for me. So I wanted to be able to pay that forward to someone else. It takes a story a lot of times.
It does.
A few words to just light a fire under someone. And I am a true testimony to that, for sure.
I love that. Even if you're impacting one, even if you're helping one person, I mean, I say that a lot with what we try to do. If you could just help one person, all it takes is one. Oh my gosh. So in your coursework, like, how do you manage your own wellness? Because look, I know we're talking about this as if this is like easy. It's not.
Oh,
everybody is not built for PA. Okay, you're not. Everybody is not built for this. So how do you manage like the stress levels and your own wellness, and what do you do to kind of refresh and take care of yourself?
Absolutely. Shelly, Bella, it is something I'm still learning how to do. Let me just first say, I'm still learning, right? I'm a scrub, right? I'm learning.
Yeah.
Hashtag scrub. It's something that I have to really experiment with myself. This is actually something me and my advisor, who's a faculty member here, were just talking about literally 6 hours ago, right?
Wow.
At noon, we had a meeting today about what I'm doing to take care of myself. And some of the things that we talk about in our meeting, and some of the things I have to continue to remind myself, some things my mom has to remind me about, and my parents when I'm calling them stressing about school, is once again, look at your passions. That is usually the first answer to finding self-care, right? When I am in a point where I'm just absolutely stressed and I feel like I just have no more left to give, I hit my piano that's right downstairs. I go and start playing some music. I go and start hitting some of those keys. I, go and listen to music, just put in my headphones and just relax and step away from my keyboard, step away from my textbooks, right? Step away from the classroom and just listen to music. I go out for a walk and just try to take in what's going on. It's so easy to feel like you're in a shell when you're in PA school. And that goes for honestly any schooling. That goes for those that are entering undergrad or maybe even high school, right? When you just feel like there's so much that is boxing you in. Go outside and take in the community, take in the environment, take in the fresh air, and remind yourself where you are. And when I'm in a place where I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this, I am just, man, this is just so hard. I have to tell myself, and this is also part of self-care, right? Part of self-care is self-affirmation. I have to tell myself that the person I was as a sophomore in undergrad, right? So 19, 20, whatever that might be a few years ago, or even before that, 16, 17, would have really wanted to see me where I am today. I prayed to do this type of stressing. I prayed to be able to have the privilege of stressing about getting through PA school before I was stressing about getting to PA school, let alone stressing about, how to wear a stethoscope or how to, do, what the heart does or what the lungs do, right? I didn't have that privilege before. So I like to really take a second, go for that walk, go outside, put in my, we call it lo-fi beats, right? It's like smooth jazz, whatever, like electronic beats, lo-fi. And I like to just I like to talk to my old self. I like to talk to my shadow. I like to talk to my 16-year-old self and tell him that you're going to be okay and you're going to hear it. And then, reminding myself about how I got here, remembering my why. That is so, so important. And that is part of self-care. You have to remind yourself that it's going to be all right. You're going to get through, and letting yourself have some grace.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we don't need a little bit of therapy session. I'm asking for a friend, but I'm asking for myself. I'm the friend I'm asking for. This is so all of these things, I think also over the last couple of years, in response to COVID, a lot of us have been so stressed out, even more so. And a lot of us are not doing a good job of taking care of ourselves. So even the advice of just taking a walk, just getting some fresh air, that is gold, so that is like an easy thing that you can do, whether you're a student or you're your parent, whoever you are in your walk of life. You just take a moment, pause, and take a breather, take a breath. Oh my gosh, I love that. So okay, I was asking for myself.
I was asking for me too, to be honest.
I was asking for me. Okay. So what do you want to be remembered for?
Wow, absolutely. That's a really good question. I think, as I'm, trying to figure out who I am and my purpose, other than obviously being a student and figuring things out, I think one of the biggest things that I would want to be remembered for is someone who's not perfect. Someone who has the opportunity to learn as they go and to take in as much as I can. I love learning. Education, whether or not it's, science related or life related or anything, is one of my biggest loves of this world. I want to be the person that they can say, Trey is the type of person who is what we call a sponge of knowledge. I want to be someone that can take in, aspects of life from all different corners, and that honestly comes down to a term, just when I talk about learning and, culture and talk about, expanding your skill set, I like to refer to the term humility, right? Humility. I like to walk into things with, you probably even heard of this, like cultural humility, those that have cultural humility. And I think that word humility is super important because it gives, and I actually heard this from one of my career advisors in undergrad when we were talking about cultural humility, is it's one thing to be competent in a field, right? It's one thing to be competent in something, right? You reach a finish line, it's done. But when you have humility, there is no finish line. You are always learning and you're always taking it. So I want to be known as that person who's full of humility. I'll walk in a room and don't get me wrong, I know some things, right? I got something to offer to the table. Right?
That's right.
You got some things to offer to the table, but also you don't come to the table with your order, with your order already fulfilled. You don't come to the order, or you don't come to the table with, with what you already want to order. You get to the table expecting to order once you reach the seat, right? And so my thing is, when I come to a new group of people, before I talk about what I already know, I really want to know, what can I learn? And that's something that I take to heart as I'm both here as a student and just in all paths of life. So really encourage yourself, challenge yourself to open up your listening ear and just say, what can I learn today? Like,
what can I learn today?
Something that I can take away from today. So that's something I definitely want to be remembered by that.
That's such a good perspective. What can I learn today? And it changes the way, it does change your perspective and the way you view things. So so if something doesn't go right, it is more about learning rather than, kind of reveling in what went wrong.
Absolutely.
My secret friend that asked that question is very happy. That was awesome. That was awesome. So I'm mindful of the time. We try to run it, give the speech all the time. We try to run this about 40 minutes because that's about when our guests start their stomach, their tummies start grumbling because it's around dinner time. We know what's up. So before we go, Bella, I want to make sure, did you have any other questions before I have another one?
I don't think so.
Okay, I was gonna ask Trey, what are you proud of? What do you feel inspired by? And what do you feel empowered to do?
Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, I need you to say it to me one more time.
Yes.
Okay.
So first, what are you proud of?
Proud of.
And then what are you inspired by? And then what do you feel empowered to do?
Absolutely. I am definitely proud of where I am today. Like I said, if you were to look back at the, who I was a few years ago, I want to be able to give a foreshadow as to what's happening right now and just say, you got here, you made it. And that goes for anybody. Be proud of where you are. Pat yourself on the back. It doesn't matter where that is. If it's better than yesterday, be proud. And I like to be proud of who I am today and how I got here. And I believe next was about inspiration.
Inspired. Yeah.
It was who inspires me.
Yeah. Or what are you inspired by?
I listen to a lot of Steve Harvey. I'm obsessed with Steve Harvey.
I love him. He's very inspirational.
He gives a lot of really good stories, especially about where he came from. He was homeless. He lived in his car for years. People doubted him. People stepped on him. And look at him now. He's an individual who inspires the masses. Watching his story and listening to his podcast literally every day, because I listen to his podcast every day, gives me the opportunity to really realize and be inspired by being okay with change. And so I'm inspired by Steve Harvey and I'm inspired by his story, but to reflect that back on myself, I'm inspired by being okay with change and being okay with the process and saying, okay, this process, right? Whether or not you start off homeless and you're here where you are now, or whether it's not you're trying to get into grad school, whatever that means for you, I love the process of change. So I'm inspired by his story and his explanation of change. And then I believe the empowerment piece was the last piece.
Yes.
In terms of empowerment, I truly am empowered by strength and those around me. And so one of the things that I get to do is I get to go to a class of 65 other individuals other than myself. And I get to just touch on those strengths, right? We're in this together. We're in this together at Vibe. And that also goes through my friends. So some people believe that empowerment has to happen with a big figure. Empowerment happens with my own social circle.
That's
I'm empowered to continue moving by those around me. And shout out to my friends from back in the D, back from Belleville, back from Detroit, back in Grand Rapids. You all give me strength, and as well as my family as well. So I'm definitely empowered by those, that I have gotten had the pleasure of meeting and getting the chance to develop a relationship with, for sure.
Wow. Well, you've definitely made an impact on, if I don't mind speaking for Bella and myself, you've definitely made an impact on us personally. We are so grateful for you. Your energy is just infectious. It's just amazing. It's just, I mean, it really is pure heart, and everything that you do, we absolutely know that it will be successful. It is successful because we believe in receiving.
Absolutely.
So it is absolutely, We're excited about the podcast. Y'all, we got a friend who's a PA in the future. Okay, so we got we leveled up, okay? We got friends in high places. And you are representing us right now. So even as someone who's slightly older than y'all, just my heart is just so full right now because I'm watching your generations represent us so well. And so I know that's definitely a compliment to your parents as well. And so we definitely want to give your parents a shout out. Y'all, good job parenting. Y'all did it. We love y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and try to claim him as my own, but you know how that goes. Sharing is caring, parents. So we're grateful. We definitely want you to come back when the podcast is in place, so we can hear more about it. We definitely want to have you come back and take us on the journey, share pictures or whatever, so we can get some more information about the university and the program and your progress and anything that you can share that could help folks.
Absolutely.
All right. So with that, we're not giving any more of him to y'all. We're going to take him backstage. He's ours now. We're going to take him back.
Y'all don't get no more.
Y'all don't get no more.
That's it.
We gave you all kinds of college tips for free.
Exactly.
We gave you some great advice. For those of you guys watching the replay, the video will be kept up so that you can watch it, share it with your friends. For the university, I would behoove you as someone who is strong in branding to use this information for your recruitment purposes. I would just behoove you to do that.
I will. I absolutely will. And let me just say, if you're ever interested in what the PAs are doing, what we're doing, please just do Google search. What is a PA?
Yes.
Check out AAPA's page. It'll give you tons of information about, spreading the word because, PAs are upcoming. A lot of times people don't even realize we're your primary care providers. So please feel free to do that research. And happy for that.
That's a great point. This is one of those roles that you don't have to worry about. Listen, again, now for the parents, this is one of those roles that will not be impacted by attrition. Let me just put in HR speak, okay? So if your student is looking for a job that is going to be around for quite some time, this is a field that you want to consider. Let me just put it that way, okay? They have a stable job. If you're in corporate America, there's another story. Just saying, it's a different animal.
Right.
But this is definitely a field that you definitely want, think about guiding your students to. So we'll tell these folks hi and we'll hang out in the back room just for a little bit longer. Thank y'all for watching. Love, like, share the video so they don't cut us off and we can come back. Welcome to our new UK visitors. This is what it's like in the US. This is how we do it. And Trey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is how we don't have the copyrights for that song. my gosh. All right, we'll tell these people bye, and then we will hang out in the back.
All righty.
Say deuces.
Peace
Bye.
out.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Bye.